So, Mike, I feel like when I give you the opportunity to program these months every year, which we've been doing now for, I don't know, it's been...
At least 6 years?
At least. It's got to be more than that, though.
Yeah, it might be more.
Pandemic. I remember the pandemic year the most because of the kind of, not the poor timing of it all, but like the hilarious timing, I guess. But the opportunity that I give you, I've now given to some other people as well. But I feel like I gave you, and it was the case, I gave you the first opportunity to do this. And this, in my opinion, might be the first time where I feel like there is some ill will here. There's some ill intent here. I mean, I'm purely kidding, obviously, and you know that because you can see the look on my face. And dear listener, I'm saying this in jest because, on this episode of the Kulturecast, I am still your host, Chris Stachiw, much to the chagrin of at least two people out there, for a fact. And I'm joined by the man who did, in fact, put the Mike White in Mike White March, the host of the Projection Booth podcast, Mr. Mike White.
Thank you, Aristotle.
Fucking Christ. So I am going to give you the opportunity to introduce the month, introduce the movies that we're going to be talking about. And because, again, I don't want to bury the lead. I mean, if you clicked on this, you know what we're going to be talking about. But if you're listening to this and you may not, Mike, why? What? Just why? Just fucking why? Because like this is fucking why? 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 I'm begging you to tell me why.
I don't know. I really don't know why I did this to myself and I did this to you. But yeah, we're watching 5 really bad Robin Williams films this month. I went to the books and I said, okay, Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, what are the worst ones that have a starring role for Robin Williams? I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to blow the lid off this whole idea that Robin Williams was just this god amongst men. I don't think I'm trying to tear down Robin Williams at any point, but just maybe people were talking too much about how great he was and everything, but oh man, did he make some stinkers. And I just wanted to finally go through and watch some of those stinkers. So here we are. So before we talk about Jack from 1996, Mike, what are the other films that we will be talking about this month? Let's see. RV, License to Wed, which I was not familiar with whatsoever.
I blame myself for that one.
Yeah, you really pushed for that one.
I didn't push for it as much as you were like, what are some bad Robin Williams movies? And I was like, this is the one that comes to mind. And you were like, I've never even heard of it. And I was like, oh dear. Oh, no, what have I done?
Yeah. So we've got those two. And then we also have Man of the Year, which I've also, that's the thing with all of these. I've not seen any of them. And then the last one is Patch Adams.
Oh, God. So now that you know what we're talking about, now that the kind of ghost has been given up as to why we're talking about this on this episode of the Kulturecast, it's Mike White March. We're kicking it off with a look at 1996's coming of age film is what it's. Yeah, sure. Comedy, maybe. Drama, sure. And God, this is the thing that makes my head spin. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Jack.
He's a normal kid.
I'm telling you, he's our age, but he looks 40.
He just ages 4 times faster.
So I'm big for my age.
And he's the biggest thing that ever hit the 5th grade.
2 words. Penthouse.
And 4, we have liftoff. I have the penthouse.
Hollywood Pictures presents
Bring the basket. Yeah!
Robin Williams.
I had a scary dream. Can I sleep in here? Of course, buddy.
As the kid in all of us. Jack, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, August 9th at a theater.
So the film is directed by Francis Ford Coppola. It is not written by him, but it is co-produced by him. And Zoetrope Films, man, American Zoetrope, they're all over this. They want you to know that. The film stars Robin Williams as the titular Jack, a boy who was born who ages 4 times as fast as normal children. So when he is 10 years old, he appears to be physically 40, but he is mentally the age of the child. So, yes.
Essentially, he could be mistaken for a giant developmentally delayed man.
Right. Simple Jack, one might even say.
One might say simple Jack.
What the fuck? I mean, not to like, again, not to give it up, but like, this is the movie that Tropic Thunder is explicitly making fun of in the film, with Simple Jack, with Ben Stiller playing Tom Cruise, playing a developmentally disabled man trying to win an Oscar, essentially is the kind of the gag in that movie. I mean, that's what this movie is. Film also stars Diane Lane, Jennifer Lopez, Brian Kerwin, Fran Drescher, Bill Cosby.
Yes, Bill Cosby.
Boy, I hate that I even have to say his name. And no, I'm not kidding. And I was apparently doing drugs, or someone was. Michael McKean is in this movie as well. What in God's name? So, Mike, I'm going to kick it to you first. We already know why you picked this movie. So, first time seeing it, was it now? If it wasn't?
First time.
Oh, wow. Okay. So is it going to be, do I just need to assume that this is a first time for everything this month?
First time for everything.
Okay, so I'm not
saying any of this stuff.
Okay, I'm not going to ask that anymore then. So, what did you think of watching Jack?
Well, I had this movie described as being one of the worst things in the entire world. It's not that, but God Almighty, is it so cloying? And the metaphors are just so freaking obvious, and they just hit you over the head with these metaphors throughout the entire thing. Oh boy. And yeah, Mr. Coppola is not subtle most of the time. He is not very subtle. He really wants you to get what he's trying to say with this thing. And
the director of Megalopolis is not subtle.
The director of Megalopolis, yes, not subtle. Yeah, this one, I mean, Coppola is just like, I don't understand why people don't like this. This is a modern day fairy tale. I'm like, yeah, not really. It's so simple. The whole movie is so simple. I mean, it just feels like, like 5-6 major set pieces kind of thing. And yeah, it's basically Jack is lonely. Jack wants to go to school. He gets made fun of at school. He eventually doesn't get made fun of at school. The whole thing with his best friend, his new best friend's mom, that thinks that Jack is a fully functional adult.
I mean, if Fran Drescher thought that I was a fully functional adult, I'd be going and buying her drinks.
Oh God, yes. I mean, she's
Fran Drescher,
fantastic.
she is a gorgeous woman. Then, now, forever. She's like the WWE, then, now, forever.
And then he falls in love with his teacher, falls down some stairs.
I mean, I heard that his teacher is, in fact, Jenny from the Block. So
Jenny from the Block.
This is like, what, just around Jenny from the Block time?
Yeah.
Pre a little bit. Like,
but it's like there are things in this movie that I'm like, oh, I would actually want you to explore these things, because there's a few interesting items in here, such as the whole thing of him falling in love with his teacher. He's this young boy in an adult's body, which gives you a whole different play. You know, kind of reminds me of the love affair in Big as well. There's a whole thing with Diane Lane, who's his mother and really wants to protect him from everything, and she is unable to. And this whole thing of like, I mean, she should be having like major, and I think she is, but they just don't focus on it very well. She's having major problems with him going out into the world, and she's very much against it. And I'm like, oh, well, you could actually turn that to be a little bit more, I don't want to say sinister, but just like undercutting things and like really having a power play between her and her husband. But no, that doesn't happen. And then Fran Drescher, it's like, I guess they spend so much time with the men in this movie that they forget the women, and the women are the more interesting characters than Jack. It's kind of like Benjamin Button, where it's like, I could give a shit about Benjamin Button. It's all of the people around Benjamin Button that I actually want to know how they're reacting to this person. What did you think, Chris?
So I didn't know if we were going to have an opportunity to talk about this, and I didn't want to overwhelm you with another thing to watch, because this was a thing that you had picked. So I think this is something that we should watch eventually. And I want to mention this before I talk about Jack. So Jack comes out in 1996. 13 years later, Amitabh Bachchan and Abhishek Bachchan play father and son, role reversed, in a film called Pa, where Amitabh plays a young child who's developmentally disabled, and Abhishek plays his father. and Amitabh is in like, I don't know how to explain the makeup. It is singularly astounding. And again, if you didn't know it was Amitabh Bachchan, you would never believe. But it is inspired by a child with progeria, which they talk about in this movie. And so I mention all of this to say, I saw this movie in theaters. I remember seeing it in theaters for whatever reason. And I thought this movie was based on a real person.
Mm.
How the fuck would that even be possible? It doesn't even make any sense because it literally doesn't make any sense. I mentioned Pa because Pa is based on a real life person with real life progeria, which is what this is. Why? The thing that bothers me about this movie, and I mentioned this Indian language film only because I almost find this film halfway offensive, because if you're going to have a movie that's a modern day fairy tale, but then have Lorenzo's oil-like moments in it, what is the fucking point of it being a fairy tale? Make it a fairy tale. Make it a movie where it's like genuinely like at the end of the movie, he just Luke Skywalker's or Obi-Wan Kenobi's and just, disappears into the dust. Like, do you know what I mean? If we're talking about this being like a modern day fairy tale, don't have scenes of him with heart monitors on and him like dying. It's very tonally at odds with itself. And then, reading, doing again the legwork ahead of time and reading in the interviews that Coppola did, then and now talking about this movie, I get what he was going for. It is there. It is there in the movie. I don't think the movie is completely beyond reproach, but boy, this is a bad movie. And I'm trying to be diplomatic because I, as well as yourself, know that I can be, but this movie is really bad. It is at times so, like you said, cloyingly, emotionally manipulative, especially the fact that we have to mention him at all makes me sick to my stomach because everything that he's done now has really been like poisoned because of who he is. But most of that cloying shit comes from Bill fucking Cosby. And man, having Bill Cosby in your movie makes my skin crawl because Bill Cosby gives me the big ick, especially with this fucking goatee.
So I was reading the script of this, managed to track down the script. I think it was the first feature-length script that got produced by this writing pair of,
DeMonico and Nadeau.
Yeah, James DeMonico and Gary Nadeau. DeMonico would go on to eventually write the Purge movies, and that's like his almost entire filmography at this point is just purge. He's also,
which is better than this, by the way, which is light years better than this.
He also wrote Skinwalkers. He wrote the remake of Assault on Precinct 13, and he wrote The Negotiator, which has another ick factor. That's the one with Kevin Spacey and Samuel L. Jackson, which I remember actually kind of liking at the time, and I'd be curious to revisit that one. Anyway, and then Gary Nadeau, not a whole lot. Like a TV version of Angels in the End Zone, the Jenny Project, also a TV movie, and then a short called Pizza Verde. But yeah, didn't really go on to do too much after this. But I was reading the script, and the version I was reading was interesting because that whole opening scene at the costume party was not there. And I just want to highlight the costume party because we've got Diane Lane and the husband character. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep calling him that because I forget.
He's billed in the credits as dad at the end of the movie. So
yeah, nice. He's dressed up as the Tin Man. She's dressed up as Dorothy. And as they're kind of lining around the room, there are these two women who are dressed up as cats, and they are being, get this, catty. Yeah, they're being catty about stuff. And all they keep doing is talking about how bloated Diane Lane looks. And I think that those two characters are supposed to show us that even adults have to deal with bullies, because these two women in their cat costumes so remind me of those two little piece of shit little girls that keep basically tormenting Jack through so much of the movie. And when they grow up and you see them when they're 18 at their graduation, they're still little assholes. I mean, pretty much all of the kids in this movie are assholes. Like when it comes to him making friends with Louis, I'm just like, Louis an asshole. Like, I don't know why you want to be friends with this guy. None of other than the Spazzola kid, I wouldn't want to be friends with any of these kids.
Oh my God. Oh God. Oh man. Every scene with the kids just makes me want to slam my head against the table. Because Robin, like, I want you to give me some historical context here because I was only 6 years old at the time. I can only do the research now and read about it. But like, Robin Williams was the shit, right? Like, Robin Williams was there's nobody bigger for the longest time, right? Like, he was in so many things, so beloved by people. He's working with Francis Ford Coppola on this film. Like, the reaction to Robin Williams at the time is like, like when you heard about this at the time, was this like, what in God's name is this guy doing? Or was this
Pretty
like,
much.
this is like, here's the pivot we've all been waiting for?
Well, it's weird because it was technically a success at the box office. It cost what, 40 million and made like 70 some million. So it technically made money.
But it was poorly received broadly.
I just
critically.
Yeah, people just being like, what the fuck is this? It was the whole idea of Robin Williams being a little boy trapped in a man's body. And people were just like, no, I don't want to see that. I don't know why.
But I don't understand how this is, because here's the question. And I ask the context of Robin Williams because you already kind of mentioned the thing that this gives me the same ick of Big. Big gave me the ick so hardcore when Tom Hanks is like fucking that woman. It's like,
oh yeah.
Because here's the thing. There's a scene in this movie early on where Robin Williams gets in bed with his adult parents and all I could think was, is he literally going to turn over at some point in the night and stick his dick into his mom? Because that's what we're watching here. Because an adult man child has a adult man's penis. Like, and this is unpleasant. This is upsetting. And he's like groping his mom at one point. Like, it's just, he's in between his mom and his dad. Any other time out, like, if you watched this scene out of context, with none of the context, like literally, I mean, with no context of what this movie is, it looks like a throuple. It looks like some sort of cucking situation. And it is not charming. It's, you know what it almost feels like? Almost, and this feels like our red letter media thing, because I bring up The Simpsons so often. Do you remember in The Simpsons where Sideshow Bob keeps walking onto the fucking rakes and hitting him in the face? That's what this movie feels like. You have gone and made it, because I think for me, just sitting here thinking about it, Big has like a couple ick moments. Overall, though, I think it captures the idea of like what it would be to be a child in an adult's body. This movie takes every moment that it squanders every moment that it could have and goes for the weird ones. And it's almost like Sideshow Bob walking onto every single rake. It's like, why are you walking into it every time? I don't need to see this adult child man's a better way of putting it, being harassed by Jussie Smollett's sister. By the way, of all people, that's who that African-American child actor is. And then to your point, all the other child actors, are some of the like, who are these kids in terms of child actors from the 90s? They're not even the well-known ones. So the child actors in this movie aren't great to begin with. And then they're all written like little assholes. Like, and there's never a redemptive moment for any of them. So it's like you have asshole children being assholes to a child in a man's body in a movie that doesn't endear us to him at all. And on top of it, takes every opportunity to give us gross, weird, off-putting scenes like this adult man-child cuddling with his parents, which never works. They do it one time in the movie, and I think they realize probably they shouldn't have even done it the one time. Because again, it's really fucking gross and weird.
Well, he kind of already played this role when he was in Hook. You know, he's this adult, but then when he's Peter Pan, he's the child who doesn't want to grow up, but he has grown up, you know. And it also reminded me a little bit of Kirsten Dunst's character in Interview with a Vampire, which also reminds you of like the little boy character in after, what was it, Near Dark.
Yeah.
Like these vampire kids who have lived for hundreds of years sometimes, and they're trapped. It's kind of like that piece of shit Eternals movie. There's a character in there who presents as a little girl, but she's lived millennia and she's stuck doing this. And I don't know why she doesn't do the sensible thing and just go to high school like Edward Cullen, because if you're an immortal vampire, the thing that you want to do the most is go to high school, because that's a good use of your time. You might pick up chicks that way, I suppose. But no, when it comes to Kirsten Dunst, it's like she presented when she was just a little girl. You could see the age in her eyes. It was like you could see that she had lived all this time and was just stuck in this body and was so frustrated because no one was taking her seriously. It's almost like you want to do the opposite in a movie like this, where, and granted, there's the one scene with Fran Drescher where she treats him like an adult, but it could be way funnier. The way that he speaks and everything could be way, way funnier. If he's 10 fucking years old and talking with this 30 plus some lady, it's like, yeah, give me some more comedy. There's just not enough jokes. Like it does err on the side of that cloying fairy tale that we're talking about, rather than actually trying to be funny in any sort of way.
But is it even dramatic? Because is it a drama either? And that's, again, to go back to the simple Jack of it all, right? Like the simple Jack in Tropic Thunder that they're making fun of, like it leans further into what this movie is trying to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel okay. I never read this movie as Robin Williams is developmentally disabled.
But that's what he strikes me as.
Can I tell you that I have a hard time getting myself to believe that? Because you know what it just seems like? It just seems like Robin Williams being Robin Williams around a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, yeah, he doesn't play into the youngness that much at all.
And that's my problem with this movie is it more just seems like, I'm having a hard time, like, because, this is something, to give away the way the sausage is made. Sometimes, or most of the time, when you and I record now, like, we'll have the movie playing in case we want to, remind ourselves of something while we're doing this. And so I have it on and I'm watching him, and it doesn't strike me as him playing a character that, and I'm just going to, again, present it the way Tropic Thunder presented it, a mentally retarded person. Because that's what that is in that movie, where he's doing like all of the mannerisms that, like, you never go full retard per Robert Downey Jr.'s character in that movie. It doesn't strike me as that in this movie, and I'm trying to figure out why, and I'm wondering if it's just because it's Robin Williams and that's why. If it had been anybody else, I feel like it would have felt worse, and maybe because it's Robin Williams, it ekes by just barely. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does.
There's just the charm of Robin Williams. This movie is skating on very thin ice, I think, is the problem. I almost do believe it is a child in his body, almost, because I'm having a hard time believing that the movie is him developmentally disabled. Yeah, I'm having a hard time with it because I think Robin Williams pulls it off just barely. But to your point from before, this movie doesn't mind any of the interesting stuff. Why, 7 years later? Really?
Right.
Really? 7 years movie? Like, we couldn't have gotten more of, the struggles of him getting... Come on. Him being a teenager would be way more interesting than him being a kid. Like, can you imagine... what would prom be like for this guy? What would homecoming be like? What would a first date with an actual girl be like? We never see any of that because none of that matters. Like, wait a second, why not? Like, why?
Yeah. And when they ask him if he's ever had a boner, he's just like, doesn't even know what it is. And I'm like, really? You're in a man's body? You're having nocturnal emissions, sir.
Well, not while he's sleeping with his parents at night in bed.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
It's fucking gross. This movie's fucking the things that this movie does are more the optics of it being gross and less the he's, this is a guy pretending to be a mentally, developmentally disabled person. I don't find it offensive in that way. I see how someone could. I just find this to be, to your point from before, it's saccharine beyond belief. It's like a very special story about a very special man. Like, all right, this is just not the kind of role that people do anymore either. Like, what was the last time somebody did this? Eddie Redmayne in that the Dutch Girl movie. Do you remember
Oh
that?
God, yes, I sure do. I sure do.
And Eddie
Malaysia
Redmayne,
Candor.
yeah, him, Eddie Redmayne as Stephen Hawking. Like,
Yeah.
Eddie Redmayne is almost the modern day Robin Williams, but not nearly as funny or as endearing. Like, I guess there's an endearingness to Robin Williams because you said it yourself. Like, was Robin Williams the shit? I mean, he was the shit enough to get away with this in the way that almost nobody else can or has or ever would, to the way that Robert Downey Jr. got away with doing blackface in Tropic Thunder. Like, it takes a very special kind of actor that that I think we collectively agree on is like an American icon that they can almost kind of get away with anything. Tom Hanks, Robin Williams, Robert Downey Jr., those are all actors who I think have done things that would be questionable if other actors did them. But yet, Big is a role that there's a lot of ick to it. And there's a lot of ick to this movie, too. There really is. They could have shown us him with Fran Drescher, and I would have actually had less problem with it than Tom Hanks in Big.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, he was the shit, but at the same time, every other movie was dog shit. Like for every Dead Poets Society, there's a Cadillac Man. For every Fisher King, there's well, I don't want to pick on toys, but there's Being Human.
Yeah, why are you picking on toys, Mike? What did toys do to you?
Because I haven't seen it yet, so I can't, slander that movie at all. But like for every Birdcage and Jumanji, there's a Jack. So it's like, yeah, like his record was all over the place. But when he would hit big.
And I guess that's, a movie that we're not watching this month, but it's one that I remember seeing in theaters was Bicentennial. And, like that for me is a movie that it's about a guy it's about a robot who wants to be a man. Like, what is it with Robin Williams playing these, like, I am X who wants to be Y? Like, why? What is, like, through what lens do we view Robin Williams and through what lens was he viewing himself? Because some of his more famous roles, Mrs. Doubtfire, like that is a man dressing up as a woman so that he can go be with his children. Like, yeah,
which is a horrific thought when I really think about
Mike.
I'm letting this man,
Mike White, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm letting this man into my house who is dressed as an old British lady, Scottish lady, and I'm okay with that, I guess. So yeah. Very strange. Yeah, and he had that thing, and I don't know why it was, if it was from his stand-up where he would do like little baby voices things, or what it was that just cast him in that light. I talked a little bit last month when we were planning this month out, and I was talking about the whole Robin Williams with a beard versus Robin Williams without a beard, and that used to signal that he was being serious, but it does not hold. I mean, he didn't have a beard in Garp, and that's one of his first serious movies that he had. He does have a beard for a few seconds in this one. Oh yeah, I forgot about Moscow and the Hudson. He has a beard. Good Will Hunting, he has a beard. But yeah, he's got a mustache in Cadillac Man, and I can't say enough bad things about that one. That one I have seen, so I didn't put that on the list. I couldn't revisit it.
I was going to ask because we kind of have, it's not that we haven't talked about him, but we've more talked about like the idea and the concept of the role that he's portraying. Because again, I think it's important just for the context, especially for the listener. What is your feelings on Robin Williams broadly? And then and then more specifically, I would say like his comedy stylings in film versus television versus stand-up. Like what's your kind of read on Robin Williams? Because those are very three different things. And Robin Williams, I think, has three different versions of himself, almost four, even those three, and then himself as Robin Williams. So kind of what's your thoughts on Robin Williams? Because you picked him for this month, obviously. Like this is an entire month for Robin Williams. So even if you're not a fan of his, you must find something interesting about him as an actor.
I grew up watching Mork and Mindy and absolutely loved him in that. And I watched a lot of his stand-up. I was around, during Comic Relief, which he and Whoopi and Billy, I think, all co-hosted. And yeah, his stand-up was hilarious. And just that manic, probably cocaine-fueled.
Oh, yes, beautiful thing. Oh, yes, beautiful thing. Yes.
Yeah. But the impersonations of him are too easy to do because all you have to do is act like you are completely ADHD. I mean, he's like ADHD to the nth degree, and just the way he will tie things together. I mean, I don't know if you remember where he reenacted all of the Wizard of Oz within like 10 minutes, if not less than that. And he's doing all the voices and the songs and all this. And it's just like, holy shit. And you watch this guy, he's this whirling dervish up on stage. You have to be impressed with it. Just the way that he is able to go from thing to thing to thing. I liked a lot of his stand-up. I after a while it gets to be a little much, but that's kind of Robin Williams to me. Is after a while he gets to be a little too much.
And then so you kind of your thoughts on him broadly, but then go movies, TV, stand-up. I guess you've already spoken stand-up. I mean, his comedic stylings, yeah. I think that kind of translates through all of it. I loved his comedy. I loved his stand-up because I have that ADHD brain as well. So I feel like my brain is ping-ponging around. So not to say like I would go do his shtick if I were a comedian, but like I get that. Like I mean, I feel like you do as well. Like that's kind of what we do here. We have to like, I'm not saying Robin Williams thought critically as a comedian, but like I would say that's kind of as close to an example of what he was doing as a comedian. Like if you're doing all of these like off the cuff ping ponging around, because I know that a lot of that was off the cuff. A lot of it was like he was the king of that. Like, and and in a lot of ways, like that's kind of what a lot of people who do stuff like this have to do.
You get to see it on display. I mean, obviously in the stand-up, but even in things like Aladdin, you're just like, they probably just turned him loose. You know, they did. They did turn him loose, yeah. He got to record all of the vocals and then they had to animate to him. You know, it's not like they had the animations, he had to voice it. I imagine that they did the same thing for things like robots, but that is like so sedate. And it was that fluctuation between the hyper Robin Williams and the super sedate Robin Williams. And you never knew exactly which one you were going to get from time to time, because when he was serious, he could get deadly serious. And you're just like, oh, you're the same guy who's, like running around on stage like your pants are on fire, but okay. And then some of the stuff, I mean, I have never thought that Jonathan Winters was funny, but for whatever reason, Robin Williams seemed to just worship Jonathan Winters and brought him on to Mork and Mindy. And I was just like, okay, that's kind of, it was the opposite of bringing on the cute kid. It was the opposite of the Cousin Oliver phenomenon by bringing Jonathan Winters on as their son. And I think that whole thing was that he aged backwards. So, which is bizarre. And even like with Mork and Mindy, Robin Williams is playing the alien who doesn't understand how humans work, and he's always trying to make amends and trying to figure out how humans work and just trying to basically live inside of our world. Like I remember him making gifts for people at some point. It was probably a Christmas episode, and I remember it wasn't Conrad Bain, I can't remember, Lorenzo, I can't remember the guy's name, but for Pam Dauber's father's character, he was a musician, and so Mork made him an entire piano made out of used bubble gum. And it's like, okay, you kind of get it, but you kind of don't. But that was the level of the jokes throughout the whole show, was this guy wants to understand how humans work, but can never do it. And then does all these strange things like sitting upside down in chairs and saying little phrases like shazbat and all those kind of things. But yeah, he's always playing that. At least in a lot of his movies, he's playing an outsider character who's trying to learn how humans work.
A robot wanting to be human?
Oh, wanting to be human. I mean, I guess even in Good Will Hunting, he's like the professor, but he's trying to figure out how this kid works. And he gets really defensive when the kid asks how he works because of the whole, like, didn't his wife commit suicide or something in that? I don't know. But again, super serious Robin Williams in that movie.
Well, also What Dreams May Come, very serious Robin Williams.
Very serious, but a great movie. Oh, I don't think he could ruin that movie.
You like What Dreams May Come?
Oh, yeah. And the book is fantastic.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's Richard Matheson wrote that.
Yes, it sure is. I enjoy that movie. I'm not sure I could rewatch it for personal reasons. I remember like the thing with Robin Williams and in my opinion, and again, I've kind of already given it up a little bit in terms of like the ADHD brain. Like I feel that hardcore. Like I'm in the process of spending time to get myself like neurologically tested, and I haven't gotten the "you have ADHD" diagnoses yet, but I'm waiting for it. I know it's coming because, like, if you were a kid in the 90s, I feel like everybody had ADHD. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, a lot of people I know have ADHD, and there are plenty of adults that have ADHD. Like, a lot of Gen Xers, like people your age, like, it was going undiagnosed for a really long time. That was probably going overdiagnosed for people my age. Robin Williams is like that on steroids. Like, I don't know, something about his comedic stylings on stage I always resonated with. But then, man, when he's doing stuff like this, where it's trying to be endearing, again, it's almost like he gets away with it. But you know what? Here's the thing. Let's be frank here. Almost getting away with it is a lot more of a reality than failing hardcore like a Sean Penn. Because, Jesus Christ. Like that, while Simple Jack and Tropic Thunder may be making fun of this directly via the title, especially, I think the way that the actor that Ben Stiller is playing in the movie, Tug Speedman, is pretending to be is more akin to someone like Sean Penn.
Oh, yeah.
And not Robin Williams.
He definitely went full retard in that movie, and I think he even calls him out.
Right. Yeah. Sean Penn. Yeah. Like, exactly. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I think Robin Williams, I would actually say, like, you know what? Robin Williams doesn't almost get away with it. I think he does. I think he actually does. Because while I don't like this movie and I don't like the movie, I actually think Robin Williams' performance is good because it's not offensive. Somehow it's not offensive because it should be. On the face of it, it should actually be offensive because, to your point from before, it should just be like a developmentally disabled man. But I also think, and here's the other thing, to go all the way back to the thing you introduced initially with your opening kind of statements about this being a fairy tale. If this were to be a fairy tale, which it's trying to be, it shouldn't be talking about the reality aspects of this. It should just be like, this is a grown man with the mind of a child. And that's because this is a fairy tale and we don't need a medical explanation for it. It just seems to happen that way. And I think that if they gave some of that up, ignored some of that, and actually had us, again, talking about the things that were going on with exploring this character as opposed to having him isolate himself halfway through the movie for like 20 minutes, I think we might have actually seen a performance from Robin Williams that would seem more endearing than this, because the things and the topics that the movie gets itself kind of embroiled in are, again, like it goes back to the Lorenzo's oil of it all. It's like, why are we doing a realistic thing? Like, why does this need to be realistic? It needs, if it's going to be a fairy tale, make it a fairy tale. Like, like for real, like Megalopolis is a fairy tale. That's what Francis Ford Coppola is going for. And the lack of reality in that movie is apparent. In this movie, it's trying to at times be a fairy tale because it could not explain why Robin Williams has aged 4 times as fast. And yet the movie feels like it needs to attempt to do so, when I would contend there's no need for that, because the things that this movie could and does succeed at minorly are not trying to explain to us why this is happening. Just explain to us what happens when this is happening and how it affects the people around him. Because that's the more important, interesting aspects of the movie to me, anyway.
Yeah, you know, the fairy tale-ness of it all really comes for me in 2 things that Coppola is doing. One is the recurring image of the butterfly, and we've got the whole birth of the butterfly and then eventually the death of the butterfly. But the bridge too far for me is that moment when he and Cosby are up in the treehouse, and the butterfly is what weighs it down enough that the entire thing comes crashing down. It's like, okay, that's a little much. The other thing that I thought was interesting that Coppola does is he shoots a lot of things sped up, but you really only, I mean, it's not that noticeable. Like, the way that the clouds move, the way that the sun moves across his bedroom and everything, it's all sped up, but it's like, it's almost like you need to call more attention to it. It was just kind of strange.
He ages 4 times as fast. Don't you get it?
Yeah.
But don't you like subtle?
I got it, Francis. I got it, Francis. I'm good. Yeah.
Subtlety.
Maybe.
Did you know that the B in subtle is silent? Subtle. That's how I say it.
That's right. Maybe cut out one of the kid characters, give those kids some more strengths, because really I only know 2 of them. Like I said, there's the Spaz and then there's Lewis. And otherwise, it's a bunch of random kids that are just hanging out.
the spaz, otherwise known as Child Eddie Deason.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, this kid is no member of the Sandlot. Like that, the Sandlot is where you want to put your money if you're talking about like a bunch of individual kids where you can actually see some personality from each one of them.
Every single kid, goddamn, The Sandlot is a good kids movie. Like, The Sandlot is not just a good kids movie. The Sandlot is a good movie that I think adults can see themselves in the kids, because again, the framing device of The Sandlot is such a smart thing, where you have the adult recounting his childhood. So you have the adults being brought in, but then the moment the 2 minutes of the framing device are over, any kid watching that movie can automatically start to empathize and sympathize with the kids. Even now, I went and saw a live showing of The Sandlot last year, and the theater was like sold out. Like,
I believe it.
yeah. And there were not just people my age and your age there. It was a lot of kids, like actual kids. And you know what? It's because it's a movie that resonates even now with kids. There is a chance that this movie could have been that. I think that this movie is just really not interested in telling the story of, I don't know, is it not interested in telling the story of this guy, and it's interested in telling the story of the world around him? Like, I don't understand why the focus is where it is, because there are ideas here that are presented that are interesting, like the idea of like, I can't get old, so I have nothing to look forward to, like, you know, like, because they talk about like, what do you want to be when you grow up, and he's like, there was a moment that actually guts me, at least in this movie, where it's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he goes, I just want to be alive.
Right.
And it's like, fucking hell. This one scene in the movie gets so much emotion out of Robin Williams that I really don't understand how the rest of the movie fails so spectacular at being emotionally resonant, because it's that one scene that you feel like is almost like the Rosetta Stone for this movie should have been, you have a child in the body of a man who, to your Benjamin Button example, knows that at some point all of this will be cut short prematurely. And they echo it in the scene with Bill Cosby, where he's like, I just want to be normal. And he's like, sorry. Like, essentially Bill Cosby goes, sorry, which also, again, is like fucking heartbreaking beyond belief. Those two scenes are the only scenes in this entire movie that get any amount of like genuine raw emotion out of the scene. And look, it's better than nothing at all, but I don't understand how you can give us two good scenes and then the rest of the movie can feel like such a dud, because they know what they were doing in some respects, but the fact that you can at least get me to believe for a moment that Robin Williams is in fact a 10-year-old mentality in the body of a 40-year-old man, like, I believed it for 2 seconds. I feel like if they tried a little bit harder, and like you said with the script, the script, what's on the screen is on the page in a lot of ways. Like, there's not a lot of difference. There is some stuff, but I feel like if they had actually like looked at the spots of the script that worked and mined those things further, as opposed to giving us children playing basketball for 10 minutes and dancing around, which I feel like is just an infinitely bigger waste of time than actually mining this character, Robin Williams actually could have maybe gotten nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
I again, if not Robin Williams, I don't know who, but Tom Hanks did it in Big and got away with it. Robin Williams almost gets away with it here.
Yeah, there are moments that they could have explored, like the parents being alone in the house together for the first time. You know, like, that's a pretty poignant moment for them as well. And like I said, the Diane Lane character, like, she's so nervous for her son. And, you know, they talk a little bit about, like, why didn't we ever have other children? You know, it's like, wow, what would that have changed? Like, what would happen if there was yeah, exactly. So I would have liked to have seen more of that. And yeah, just so many unexplored things that they really could have done to make this a better movie. You know, like I said, it's not terrible. I really expected it to just be awful and just Robin Williams just hamming it up and just, you know, like making even more fart noises and doing other gross stuff. And it's like, okay, you know, that scene goes on for a long time. And I'm like, really, worms? They're making this kid eat worms? But anyway.
Well, there, I was also said, when I said I don't like this movie because there are plenty of things in this movie that feel like wastes of time, extended wastes of time.
Yeah.
Like the basketball game, like them yeah, eating whatever the fuck that is. Like whatever that, like, while I appreciate and understand that you are trying to show us the experiences of a child and the world of a child from the perspective of an adult, like this is not a thing that I think is interesting in that regard or helps sell that. I feel like and again, this movie is 113 minutes. I actually feel like the comedy in this movie is maybe what fails it. And it's there's some drama here that they don't, okay, go with me on this. They don't trust the drama in this movie at all. They don't trust it at all. They're like, we have Robin. It's almost in a lot of ways the worst thing they did was casting Robin Williams, because they were like, he's a funny guy, so he's got to be funny. Like, it's like that again in The Simpsons, like, hey, Bart, do the line, like say the line. Like, Robin Williams is actually a pretty good dramatic actor. I'm not saying something that people don't already know. We've already mentioned plenty of good dramatic roles. Good Will Hunting, What Dreams May Come. Like, What Dreams May Come is a dramatic role. That is a sad movie. I don't want to watch it because it will make me cry. This movie didn't need to be funny. This movie actually needed to be fucking sad, because it is a sad fucking movie. And it needed to do what Benjamin Button does, which is a movie that I had not watched until recently, but I watched it to prepare for this, because again, it's like one of the closer analogs to this. This movie doesn't explore the idea of your life being cut short, and you know it, and you can't do anything about it. And so what does that mean for someone who, in a lot of ways, is like, again, we don't get to explore the things that could make this movie more interesting, like him as an older man. And I don't get, maybe they didn't want to spend money on the makeup. Maybe they didn't want to spend time on the practical effects, but like those are things that feel like money left on the table, because those are where a lot of the interesting things could have come from. A lot of the interesting conversation. Because again, the movie knows that there are interesting conversations to be had. If you have a character saying, I just want to be alive when I'm 28, I mean, I can, like,
him doing the multiplication to figure out, how old he would be at age 28. It's pretty remarkable.
It's sad. Like, and it's, again, like, it doesn't require Robin Williams to do the coked out personality. It requires the movie to just sit and be quiet for a second. And I know that, yes, it is, once again, we're talking about Robin Williams sitting still and being quiet is like Robin Williams not being a hairy man. Like, he's a...
Jesus, how many times do they have to bring up how hairy this guy is? I'm like it's throughout the entire beginning. Oh, he's a hairy freak. Oh, he's a hairy giant. And I'm like, okay, yeah,
wearing SPF of 150 or having Robin Williams level of hairiness.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I mean, he didn't have to be hairy. They shaved him down for Hook, but yeah. And there are so many things too, where it's like the scene at the bar where it's Michael McKean. I'm just like, okay, Michael McKean's going to start hitting on him, right? He's not going to understand what like gay adults are.
No.
Homosexuality
It is the 90s. You could be... In Out is, in fact, a movie that has come out in the 90s. So you could be mistaken for thinking that that's where it was going.
I thought for sure that's where it was going. And then even to have Don Novello in there as the bartender, who I know Don Novello worked with Coppola a lot. I just watched him in Tucker, A Man in His Dream. But Novello's fucking amazing. And he's got 3 lines, it's like, what are you doing, man? Why are you casting?
We do Shabby Detective, baby. Come on. We do the Shabby Detective. You know. Sometimes you got to get your friends to work.
True. Yeah. I got a part that's perfect for you. You're going to be the bartender.
So we've now spoken, I think, a bit about Robin Williams, but can we talk about the supporting cast? Because Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Whoa, man, what a thankless role she's given in this movie. Like,
oh yeah,
that's all I can say.
On screen.
So 1996, Jennifer Lopez, we're still having conversations about Jennifer Lopez now in 2025. She was just remarried and re-divorced from Ben Affleck once again. Was in a movie as recently as last year or the year before where she's playing like herself falling in love with a fan, essentially, is I think what the movie is. Like Jennifer Lopez, kind of an American cultural icon, playing Robin Williams' teacher, given nothing to do. Diane Lane, given nothing to do. Fran Drescher, given nothing to do. Like almost everybody in this movie was just a character created by ChatGPT. Like, we need a mom character. All right, what are we gonna have her do? Be protective of her son. Okay. Any other character trait? Nope. What's Jennifer Lopez? She's uncomfortable with being his teacher because she realizes that she may have been sending mixed signals to a 40-year-old adult man's body with the body of a 10-year-old. What other character trait does she have? Nothing. Nothing else. Just that.
Oh, she likes red gummy bears. Majorly important.
Great. Character written.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bill Cosby's character, he's a teacher who says that he works with children because he feels like he is a child himself, or he wants to remind himself what it's like to be a child because adults are all, quote, revved up, unquote. What other traits does he have? None. Like, it is everybody is paper thin other than Robin Williams. And they give these characters way more time than you would expect them to give paper thin characters, given the amount of time that they should be giving to Robin Williams, because he is the one who has been giving all of the heavy lifting to do with this movie. All of it. He is the one who has to sell an adult body with a child's mind. Everybody around him fails him more than he fails the movie. Really, like, I'd be willing to go that far. As much as I don't like this movie, it's not Robin Williams' fault. The writing is what fails everybody in this movie, like 100%.
I completely agree. You know, there was one part of this movie that actually had a genuine laugh for me, and that was when he's getting bailed out of jail and all of his belongings are being returned, but he's missing his pog, he's missing his slammer, and then the cop kind of sheepishly looks down and reaches into his pocket and pulls it out. That genuinely made me laugh, but I feel like they wanted me to laugh more and wanted me to cry more. And I think that's kind of the worst offense to this movie, is that it wants to manipulate your emotions, but I don't think it really knows how.
No, that's kind of, I think we're both really on the same page of just like, it doesn't do anything that it's trying to do very well. And again, I feel like, and clearly I think you would agree, I feel like what it's trying to do is not really that hard, because yes, I appreciate the initial ask is, I need you as the audience to believe that this 40-year-old man has the brain of a 10-year-old. Okay, how do we get over that initial hump? Cast someone who is more or less beloved by everyone. That's why I would say he's an American cultural icon. Who can we get? Well, if Tom Hanks has already done this and he's kind of in the running for that, who else could we look to? Well, Bob Hope's too old. You know,
I know.
Jimmy
I know
Stewart's
who
too old.
We can get John Travolta, who was originally in talks for this movie. The reason why, what was it? Like, Robin Williams got this movie because Disney was apologizing to him for using his name in the Aladdin marketing when they weren't supposed to.
Right.
All right. So,
man, Dow Chemical Company produced Transylvania 65000. Weirder things have happened.
Oh, yeah.
That is no, I read that as well, and that's fucking wild. Like,
it is wild
because it works out so well still. Like, and here's the thing, I would ask you, multiverse aside, if we could live in the universe where John Travolta is the actor in this movie, does this movie work as well? As well as this movie works when Robin Williams is on screen, which is barely works, right? I think barely works only because he's in the role. Does this movie ever work at all if John Travolta?
Honestly, I would like to see it. Honestly, I think he could do it because Travolta, yes, he's been in a ton of absolute garbage over the last 20 years. I mean, maybe I'm trying to think of what the last good thing I saw him was.
He and Robin Williams were in Old Dogs together, which, by the way, I find to be rather endearing as a movie. I like the two of them together, to be honest with you, which is wild that they were, cast one, cast two for them.
I kind of like that as well. And I would say that was kind of the last good year for Travolta was Airspray and Wild Hogs. Now, I haven't seen Bolt yet, but I have seen the Taking of what Pelham 123, and that was shit. Oh, I'm sorry. He was in Wild Hogs as opposed to Old Dogs.
No, John Travolta was in Old Dogs and Wild Hogs.
I know. He was in both.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But Robin Williams was only in Old Dogs.
Right. But yeah, I think John Travolta in 1996, he's riding high off of Pulp Fiction, Get Shorty, Broken Arrow. He's about to go into Michael, which I think this is probably the movie that he did instead of Michael's the movie he did instead of Jack, I think.
I've already prepared for this role, essentially. Like,
basically, between that and Phenomenon. And that was the same fucking year. He had a banner year, 96. He was in 3 goddamn movies.
It's crazy to me because when we're talking about like complementary pieces or films that would be similar, Michael is like John Travolta's Jack. Like, what if an angel was on Earth? Like, what if Robin Williams played a child? Like, in a very special, the same thing. Like, John Travolta's like, dial me up a script where I can play a fish out of water broadly in every scenario. How can I do that? Well, can't play a child because you already missed out on that role. So, like an angel, sure. All right, Travolta, you're good looking enough, believable. Is that the other thing? Would Travolta have been too good looking? Oh man, that would have been really off-putting to have Travolta in the bed with his parents. Oh no. Then we would have really been like, these three are just fucking, right? Like,
oh god,
what is this horrifying nightmare of a film?
Oh, I mean, maybe if they went like the Owen Meany route and they got somebody who, he was aging at a super fast rate, but maybe he didn't grow or something, or maybe it's like slightly like get him Rick Moranis in this one.
Oh my god! What about George Burns? Go further. George Burns.
He'd be smoking a cigar in the bed. They'd be like, "Jack, you're only 10 years old. You shouldn't be smoking." Yeah, that's what my doctor tells me all the time.
Shut up, Ma. Actually, we've talked about the things that are kind of, an affront in this movie or problematic, but, the things that do work, you've mentioned them. I would say another thing that works is shooting the film from a child's perspective, getting Robin Williams like down on, at certain points, the camera is very low. And so I like that Coppola makes that choice. I think for me, the real affront of this movie, genuine affront, that Bryan Adams song.
Oh my god!
Fucking Bryan Adams. He said shit in that song.
What the fuck was that? I didn't get that. It was like, wait a second.
Like, what the fuck, Bryan Adams? He's Canadian, everybody.
Did he just say what I thought he said?
Multiple
he said shit. Yeah, okay.
Well, he is making a song for the movie Jack.
Yeah, that was so
Speaking of shit.
Oh god, yeah, and this was still like the reign of terror of Bryan Adams in the 1990s. I mean, you could not escape that fucking Robin Hood soundtrack. That was
you could
crazy.
not.
Oh man.
The Bryan Adams of the 90s. Did anybody have a better time making songs for movies? I think not. But hey, you know what? Because we're recording this right after the Academy Awards, which means the Razzies happened, this film was nominated for the 1996 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards. The Stinkers.
I've never heard of the Stinkers before. When I read that, I was like, come on, guys, it's the Razzies or nothing.
Though the Stinkers only existed from 78 to 2000. So that's too bad. And the Stinkers are no more. I mean, giving awards for movies being bad is so funny. Like I know a few funnier things, really. Like what a funny thing to do. God, speaking of that, wasn't Coppola nominated for like 15 Razzies for Megalopolis?
Oh yeah. Yes, he sure was.
Is the fact that Francis Ford Coppola is the director of this movie really the strangest thing? Because that's the thing. Like, yeah, for me it feels like the weirdest thing about this movie is that he directed it. Like,
not
why? Why? I don't know why he did. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, honestly, like you said, Megalopolis is a fairy tale. I mean, One from the Heart is a fairy tale. He's into this whole idea of fairy tales. I mean, you could technically talk about how, like, the American dream is what powers the Godfather movies,
okay.
But yeah, I think, like, even going to, like, Apocalypse Now. I mean, Apocalypse Now, yes, it was based on Joseph Conrad, but really, it's Dorothy going to visit the wizard, and all of the friends that he makes along the way. And you come to something like a Rumblefish, and that is in this, just like One from the Heart, very artificial world. The black and white really separates it out from reality. You go to something like, Bram Stoker's Dracula, where it's, again, playing with the camera, doing these kind of things. And then also it's a fairy tale. It's like one of the classic fairy tales of this bad man coming into their world and upsetting everything. So I can see this fitting into his filmography almost too well sometimes, where it's just like, I really wish that you would make some better movies here, Francis, because you have the talent, but you're choosing a project really sucks sometimes.
I guess his heart's in the right place. even now with Megalopolis.
Oh, I'm fascinated by Megalopolis.
Well,
I've been like collecting material on that for, well, since the day that I saw it, because I was just like, how the hell did this thing come to be? So I'm very curious. I want to dive into that one of these days and make an episode about it.
it like this movie is a movie where the people involved believe so strongly in what they're doing that there's, they cannot see the forest through the trees. Because, as much as I appreciate Bill Cosby teaching children how to sing, oh my God.
Do you know what I'm most surprised about with this month, Chris? Is that of all the movies that I chose, I didn't go for Father's Day, which is yet another Francis Weber remake.
Yeah, but Father's Day, I believe, is probably a good Robin Williams performance.
I don't know. I mean, that's him and Billy Crystal. Both of them can vacillate, very greatly. And it was one of those. It's got to be one of those Pierre Richard, Gerard Depardieu films that they did.
It is. It in fact is.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's probably similar to like Blame It on Rio or one of those movies.
Oh, I mean, look, with Robin Williams, because of my age and the things that I saw him in, like you've already mentioned Aladdin, like he will always be like, for me, Tom Hanks, Woody, Robin Williams, Aladdin, like, the genie, like they made an indelible mark on my childhood as those characters. And so in my mind, like in my mind, it's almost less I've seen Robin Williams, but I've heard his voice so much because I listened to, I forget which one of those stand-ups it is, but I think it was one of the ones that came out in the mid 2000s on CD. It's one where he talks about Jesus's brother, Jim Bob. I think you must clearly know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't, but that sounds hilarious.
It's Robin Williams at his finest. I mean, I love him as a comedian first, him as an actor kind of third, him as a voice talent second. I think that, Coppola's filmography and getting to work with someone like Robin Williams, like you don't miss that opportunity as a quintessential American director working with what I would consider to be a quintessential American actor. I just wish, to your point and my point, like I wish they had done a different project together that wasn't this one, because I guess if anybody's going to try to make it happen, Robin Williams is a pretty good bet, but they just don't seem interested in talking about the things that if you or I or so many other screenwriters, especially screenwriters in the 90s, feels like there's a lot of missed opportunities here for things to talk about and directions to go. And again, like you spend so much time with him as a 10-year-old that you never get to talk about the other parts of his life that we get to see. Like, don't even show us those parts of his life. Don't give us a taste of it. Don't give us like a hint of those things happening, because it's hard to know that that's a thing that we could see, as opposed to just I don't need to see it. So don't show it to us. Just let the butterfly fly into the air or whatever. And he made an impact on people, or have a shot of a shooting star going across the sky, or whatever heavy-handed lack of subtlety that Coppola wants to go with. But for fuck's sake, don't show us things that the audience is going to find interesting and then just be like 2 seconds of this and it's fine. Like, no, I want to see Robin Williams in convincing old man makeup, because that old man makeup was not terrible, mind you. I would have watched him in the in-between 7 years, actually seeing him struggling with the things that the movie hints at, that the movie doesn't seem actually interested in getting involved in. And to your point before about Coppola, this is a director who's talked about the American dream so many times, and here's another kind of weird version of it that, again, you want to talk about it, let's talk about it, but don't give us the notion that you know what you're doing and then just stop.
Yeah. It was disappointing because, like you said, there's good stuff hidden in here. There's good ideas that could have been mined, but yeah, they miss the mark so often. And yeah, I think, the other film that this reminds me of, and I can't remember which year that came out, but it actually reminds me a little bit of Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
The whole idea of like the protective mother, the injured child, the very special man that he becomes, where he's just kind of unaffected
94
by around him. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Forrest, nothing could touch him. He was he was Teflon. Nothing could really. He just walked through the raindrops and everything turned out right for him. Whereas with this poor sap, he's doomed from the beginning. And like, you feel it sometimes, but you don't feel it all the time. And I almost wish there was an overwhelming sense of dread throughout this entire film.
Yeah. I mean, again, like that's kind of what the movie's promising. It gets itself into those conversations by choice and then jumps out of them by choice. There are moments here where, like, again, Jennifer Lopez and Robin Williams are having this conversation where he's like, I want to take you to the dance. And she's like, I am your teacher. He's like, I don't care. And she's just like, what don't you fucking understand?
Right.
And like those moments are heartbreaking. And it's, again, like you said, like there are moments in here, but is it wild to me to say I either one of two things? I either want more of this movie or different things and less of what they gave us, but it's almost like there's another like half hour, 45 minutes of this movie that it needs, really.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it does feel like they either needed to cut out the pieces that we're talking about that just really waste our time, or just, lean into it and give us that extra half hour of more of the actual pathos that we kind of need with a story like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like it really doesn't trust Robin Williams as a dramatic actor. And that's sad because this is not his first dramatic role. You have already mentioned several films that came long before this. There will be plenty of opportunities for Robin Williams to continue to be the funny guy that everybody knows, but there will be films like Insomnia and, I mean, Death to Smoochie is a funny movie, but it's also a movie that traffics in his kind of dramatic chops. World's Greatest Dad, another movie that kind of traffics in his ability to be dramatic. Robin Williams is a great dramatic actor when given the right script. And that's the thing. In a lot of ways, we talk about, because again, we could compare him to Jim Carrey, right? Like another kind of frenetic, high-paced comedian who seems like a really frustrated dramatic actor. But at the end of the day, comedians are doing similar things. And if comedians go into film, they become actors like anybody else. Like you could have Tom Hanks in a movie written poorly and he will not do the best of his abilities, because no matter what you do, sometimes you can't elevate a bad script.
Mm-hmm.
Elvis is not a great script for Tom Hanks's character. He is the weakest part of that movie, and Tom Hanks is a great actor. It is not his fault that the script is poorly written. Sometimes you can't elevate a poorly written script. This is one of those cases, because Robin Williams tries his fucking damnedest to elevate this movie. He really does. And like, that's the only really the commendable thing about this movie, is that Robin Williams is giving it his all. And I think everybody is. I just don't think that the script is not meeting them where they need to be. Because I think they understood how problematic this movie was going to be if taken in the wrong context. Because again, to go back to the Tropic Thunder of it all, like, that movie was able to mine this for comedy. So they know how slippery the slope is. It's very slippery. But I think this movie is not, to your point, not nearly as offensive as I thought it was going to be.
No.
Not nearly as offensive as I remembered it being in a lot of ways. But again, I do think that it's the Robin Williams of it all that you get away with it. You really get away with it more than you would of anybody else. Because again, Sean Penn really doesn't. Plenty of other actors didn't. Tom Hanks did. But again, the character of Forrest in the book is, his interior monologue in that book is, he's a smart guy interior monologue. That's the problem. The movie gives you that with the narration. We don't get any narration. Maybe some narration in this movie might have helped. I don't know. Like, to your point, him being a sad sack, knowing that he's going to die by age, like, are we to believe that he dies more or less like very quickly after this movie?
I would think so. Yeah.
It needs more of, like you said, the looming specter of death needs to be more part of this movie, because if he is a child in an adult's body, at some point he will struggle with that.
It's almost like there needed to be an end title card, Jack so-and-so died in his sleep 2 days later.
I mean, again, I go back to my opening statement here. I thought this was based off a real person. I thought this was a real person. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, there's no way this is a real thing. Like a fully formed ass adult with the mind of a 10-year-old is a film concept. Keep it a film fairy tale concept, and don't give me heart monitors.
Wow.
Don't give me any of that. Don't give me the things that are Nick Nolte struggling with his child screaming and they need to give him rapeseed oil. Like, give us the whimsy, less the serious, because the whimsy would have been probably more beneficial for this movie, especially with Robin Williams.
You can tell that this is a fairy tale because there are no reporters. there's no one like all over
But
them.
yet there
going,
are doctors, is my point.
Right. And I'm just like, what? Like, this hasn't ever made it out into the community, and he doesn't have like, oh, they're doing another special on me today or something like that. I mean, the whole thing, it could have actually been shot like a documentary, and then it's like, oh, here's the case of Jack, this little boy, and they could even have the title like Jack, the little boy who was big or something like that. And it could have been a whole different thing where we follow him around and then we get the confessionals where he tells us how he's feeling. And it would be perfect. He would just be that kind of not well-spoken 10-year-old trying their best to put their words into feelings, words that they don't have, and feelings that they probably don't even know that they have. I don't know. Like it's that mother in me that wants to say, Francis, I'm not sad about this movie. I'm just disappointed.
SRK pulled it off better in Zero. SRK, like, that's the thing. There have been so many versions of this post this that have pulled this off better. And it's because the scripts are better. But to your point, it's just like, why everybody who was involved with this project in a level where they could have changed the script should have done exactly what you just said. Taken a moment, paused, and asked, why are we doing this? What are we trying to achieve here? Because a movie like Zero, where SRK plays a little person, it's him like CGI'd down, like, and you know what? Pretty fucking endearing, and it actually kind of works, and it's not as offensive as it sounds. And I actually think that tends to be the case when these things are done for the right reasons. And this movie was not done for the wrong reason. I don't think Robin Williams made this movie hoping to win an Oscar. I think there was the potential and the possibility here for him to do that if the script had been better suited for him. But I think that, to your point, there's a lot going on in this movie where I'm just like, everybody involved should have asked for more and done better. At least the people who could have made those decisions. And that wasn't the actors. The actors did what they could. It was Coppola, it was the screenwriters, and especially Coppola getting involved. Like, Coppola should have had a writing credit on this, even. Like, kind of surprised he doesn't. Like, he didn't read the script and go, we can make some changes here. We can lean more into the fairy tale of it all.
A lot of directors will rewrite scripts, but they just keep their names off because they don't want that writer and director and the fighting for credit and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
maybe it feels like he's that kind of a person.
Yeah, and again, like you said before about the megalopolis of it all, like the fairy tale, the whimsical nature of it. Like, this movie needed more of that and less of the doctors being like, we don't know what's going on. Yeah, no shit, clearly. Like, duh, nobody does. Like,
right.
Don't keep coming back to this. This is not important. If we're, like you said, if we're not going to have people showing up and knocking down their doors being like, this is the next great medical, like, mystery. Okay, then just hang a lantern on the fact. It's like Air Bud, right? This dog's playing basketball.
You would think that would be a big news item.
Well, yeah. This is a 40-year-old hairy-ass man with the mind of a 10-year-old. And it's not even the mind of a 10-year-old. He's genetically 10 years old, but looks physically like a 40-year-old man. They have his birth certificate. They know when he was born. There were people there that were like, I am his doctor. This is, in fact, what happened. This is something that, like you said, the greater world would know about, and yet they don't. And that in and of itself is strange. So, yeah, the movie just kind of all over the place. It seems so unfocused that again, while I appreciate how easy it is for something like Tropic Thunder to make fun of this movie almost kind of doesn't deserve it, because it just kind of doesn't paint a big enough target on itself to make it worthy of making fun of, other than the parts of the movie that are just inherently weird. It's more, to me, just kind of like, man, what a missed opportunity, because of all the people to actually kind of pull this off, he is gone now and could never do it again. But Robin Williams, something so endearing about him that I didn't bristle at him being that 40-year-old body, 10-year-old mind. Like, I kind of bought into it. It's the script that fails him, which is shocking given what this movie's core conceit is, because the core conceit is inherently really fucking horrific.
Yeah, I'm curious if the rest of this month is going to be like this as far as near misses. Is that what are considered more bad Robin Williams films, or are we going to see some real stinkers? I have a feeling that the next few films are going to be real stinkers. I imagine that something like Man of the Year and Patch Adams are just going to be kind of more of that cloying stuff, Maybe I'm just setting myself up for, like the bad version of Awakenings or something. But yeah, as far as this one, I'm just, I wish it would have swung a little harder.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm surprised that that's my takeaway, is that I actually wanted more of the thing that Tropic Thunder made fun of the whole time. Like, it's actually not the problem. The problem with this movie is everything but Robin Williams, shockingly. Like, and to answer, not to answer your question, but to further maybe give a hint of a foreshadowing. Some of the movies I have seen, some of them I have not. One of the ones that you mentioned possibly being one of the worst things we watched this month, yeah, I think it will be. I think it not only will be, I think it will be one of the worst things you watch all year, because I don't remember enjoying a single moment of it, and I am dreading rewatching it. And I won't tell you which one it is, but Let's put it this way. For as much as this movie benefits from having Robin Williams in the lead, I think the movie that is going to be the worst one that we watch this month actually takes Robin Williams and squanders him completely. Because again, it's trafficking in what I would consider to be the endearing good nature of Robin Williams, which is what this movie, I think, works on. So on that note, let's take a break. We'll play a preview for the next Kulturecast. We'll play some ads, and we'll wrap this up.
Hi, I'm Susan.
And I'm Sharon. And we're the hosts of 80s TV Ladies.
Check us out wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
And please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at 80s TV Ladies.
You can find interviews and exclusive behind-the-scenes content on all of your favorite 80s TV ladies.
80s TV Ladies is the place to go. Please join us.
Hi, this is HP from Noise Junkies.
And this is Father Malone from Dark Destinations.
Please join us as we examine one of the greatest sitcoms in television history, Taxi, on Night Mr. Walters, a Taxi podcast.
Good night, Mr. Walters.
Good evening, and welcome to Night Gallery.
Thank you, Rod. And I want to welcome everyone to Midnight Viewing, where once a month we talk all about your follow-up to The Twilight Zone, Rod Serling's Night Gallery.
They say it's Rod Serling's Night Gallery, and it isn't really Rod Serling's Night Gallery, it's somebody else's.
Oh, we know. We talk about it a lot. Your curators at Midnight Viewing are the Projection Booth's Mike White.
What can happen to human beings when trust is wiped out by suspicion?
And Kulturecast's Chris Stachiw.
Small boy encased in a crystal ball.
And I'm Father Malone.
The kind of thing that usually infests nightmares.
Join us monthly at Midnight Viewing, the Night Gallery podcast at weirdingwaymedia.com.
Doesn't remotely belong to me. I have no proprietary interest in that at all.
God, what? What happened to that little girl who used to go, Daddy's home, watch TV in separate rooms, and we IM each other when dinner's ready?
Let's change things.
On April 28th.
Mom, some idiot just parked this RV outside our house. Oh my God, it's Dad.
You're invited.
Good news.
I'm adopted.
Good one.
To spend some quality time.
You got a boyfriend?
Yeah, actually, I'm engaged.
Unlikely.
With the family.
Cassie and Earl are making out.
I got him in the rearview mirror. Boy, I don't know what the hell he's doing.
RV.
Does anybody have a Ivana bag?
Rated PG.
So on the next Kulturecast, we're going to be talking about RV, a movie featuring Robin Williams. And we're going to be joined by our dear friend, Mr. Richard Haddam, RV lover himself. Until then, and Mike, you'll be joining me as well, obviously, because it is Mike White March.
I'm here for the long haul, baby.
Oh, yeah. Those are some trucker puns. Those are some 18-wheeled puns for you. Until then, Mike, where can people find you and your assorted variety of audio works?
Just about everything that I do is available at weirdingwaymedia.com. That includes a lot of shows that Chris and I do together, including the soon-to-be departed Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller show, which I'm very sad is wrapping up. I was going to say we should probably do that second season of Ring of Power at some point. Maybe do that, our mid-season replacement.
Part of the wheel for us, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, and then the one thing that you can't find from me at waitingawaymedia.com is the show that Chris and I do together with Richard Haddam, which is called Ranking on Bond. And you can find that at patreon.com/culturecast and patreon.com/projection booth. And that is at the $10 and up level on both of our Patreons. So how about you, Chris?
Same deal, same place. You know where to find me, weirdingwaymedia.com. That's the space. That's the place for all the audio stuff other than Patreon. So go there. Yeah. And, I'm excited to further the month with you. I hope that bad Robin Williams movies, maybe we can find something good in the lot of these films. But I think, we've set ourselves up in an interesting direction. But I'm glad that it's me and you this month. At least we're sharing the experience together. So
share the load.
Share the load, Mr. Frodo. I ain't dropping no eaves. Oh, speaking of hairy people, Robin Williams could have been a hobbit with those hairy ass feet that I'm sure he had. So
damn straight.
God damn it. All right. Well, Mike, that was fun. I look forward to the next episode. And as always, we'll catch you in the next episode.